Alright guys, so while I'm not done with either Saints Row 2022 or Death Stranding, I've played enough of each of them to kind of put a first impressions video out, and instead of splitting this into two videos and making it a whole thing, I'm just going to combine it into one video. So while Saints Row is more relevant since it just released, that's what we'll be talking about first. So Saints Row 2022 is very complicated, and I'm not going to get into like a long convoluted review because I'm sure my actual review will end up being like 20-some minutes. But just to quickly go through my points, let me just talk about things I like and don't like a little bit more than halfway through the game. Let's start with the positives. So if you've played Saints Row before, you pretty much know what to expect, right? This is a combination of the gameplay and the story and the mechanics from Saints Row 3 and the writing from Saints Row 4. The further you go back with the Saints Row games, the more serious they get. Saints Row 4 is just incredibly over-the-top stupid, not to say that Saints Row 3 and previous ones weren't, but Saints Row 4 was the most stupid and over-the-top, and it continues here. I mean, the writing is so bad. If you thought that this was trying to be serious, you wouldn't make it very far at all. I mean, it's just constant jokes. They're all really bad and just cringe, and just that's the whole game, right? And as long as you know that's what you're getting into, that's fine. As far as the gameplay goes, again, the good things only. The customization's great as far as vehicle and character customization goes. I would even go to say that to some degree the vehicle customization is better than something like GTA, but there's some left to be desired for the character customization. So if you've used the, I believe it was called Make a Boss game, trial, demo, whatever you want to call it, that came out probably a month or two ago, that was essentially just a simulator for the character customizer within the game. It's great, it all looked really great, you had a lot of options, but that was because you had everything unlocked. So, like with every game ever, the clothing options in Saints Row are locked behind two walls essentially, a progression wall and a go to a shop and buy 'em wall, right? Which again, like every game ever, that's perfectly fine, but the latter of those two options is where I have a problem. If you look at something like GTA, yes, there's multiple clothes shops, right? You have the nicer clothes, and then you have like the crappier, more rundown clothes shop where you can get hoodies and track pants and all of that stuff, and your shop for suits, and then your shop for, kind of in between. And you have, I believe there's 3 or 4 different brands in GTA, right? And they have shops scattered across the map with each brand, which works well, it works fine. The problem with Saints Row is that there's like 30 different brands, and that might be exaggerating a bit, but there's a lot. And so you have so many clothes stores that all have different clothes, and you don't know which one you want to go to. You essentially have to go there, see what they have, and if it sucks, know not to go to that brand again. Because I mean, you can go to a shop, let's say, and it'll have 2 pairs of shoes, a hat, and a pair of pants. That's it. And then you go to another shop and it has different pair of pants, 2 shirts, and a jacket, right? And so while the variety within the brands is great, there's too many options. I don't want to have to travel to every single clothes store on the entire map just to see the different clothing brands and different styles in my options. Either give me everything or have it concise enough to where I can travel to 2 or 3 points and see through my options. And those are essentially all of the good points, right? From there, it goes on to the bad. So my problem with this game, primarily, I mean, I have other problems, but this game was delayed. I want to say it was like a year and a bit, right? And I want to know how long this game's been in development, because you look at something like Anthem, and I feel like I've already said this already, or maybe I was just talking with the boys about it, but if you look at something like Anthem, right, that came out, it wasn't great, it was out for a couple months, and they said, oh yeah, the game was only actually in development for like 16 months, and that explains a lot of the problems. Well, something like that needs to come out for this, because pretty much everything that they did within Saints Row is a copy and paste of all of the Saints Row and the Crackdown and the GTAs and the Watch Dogs that came out 10 years ago, right? It's all of those gameplay mechanics, which are fine and dandy for 10 years ago, but stuff that worked 10 years ago doesn't work now. And it's all of that with an outdated graphics system and just a fine story, right? So if you're okay with that, if you want to play, a flashback to something, how open world games were 10 years ago, then that's fine. If that's your thing, go for it. But for me, the gameplay is incredibly repetitive, and not that I didn't expect it to be, but it's like a bad Watch Dogs is how I would describe it. Take Watch Dogs and the best parts of that game, like the hacking and the stealth hacking and even the combat, and compared to this game, take all that stuff out, and that's what Saints Row is, with stupid writing and goofy outfits, right? So that's problem number one. Problem number two, again, the story isn't really that good. Like, nothing's really happening. It's the same thing as every Saints Row game. You're a boss and you need to recruit a gang to make a bunch of money and become rich and famous, right? I don't expect much there, so I'm not really disappointed in that regard. But my other sense, my biggest problem with this game are the bugs. Oh my god, I'm a barrel! So there's a lot. I have clips of a lot of bugs. And so there's a system in the game with pranks, right? And essentially how that works is if you get 2 or 3 headshots, let's say for the challenge, you can prank your friend, turning them into different items, slipping their character upside down, just stupid stuff, right? And this is, again, just one of the bugs, because this video would be 3 hours long if I included them all. In one of the pranks, you get turned into a trash can fire, right? And so the prank lasts, I believe, like 30 to 45 seconds once you activate it, and then it's over, you go back to your normal character, right? But for this particular bug, for multiple days, through multiple sessions of playing, I was stuck as a barrel. Again, this wasn't for one session, this wasn't for one mission, this wasn't for one cutscene. I'm talking multiple main missions, multiple hours. I mean, probably 6 hours of playing, and then another session of a couple of hours of playing. I had to reset my character in order to unbecome a barrel. And again, hard crashes, people being inside of walls and you can't complete missions, people not getting in cars, that's just some of them, not being able to connect. It's bug filled, and the game's been out almost a week at this point, and so it's bad, especially with a delay of a year. This is bad. And so I'm not going to get into the central gameplay loop and go into skill trees and perk trees and the efficiency you make money at and all of that stuff in the story. I'll get into all of that in the full review, but this is just my start to the review. These are my first impressions, right? If you know what you're getting into and you can deal with some bugs that are kind of frustrating, then fine, you'll like the game. Because those are the two extremes I've seen. I'm seeing this is absolute trash and it's fantastic, right? So if you want to call back to 10 years ago, that's just a little bit buggy, then go ahead and get this game. Go ahead and play it. That's my thoughts right now. So let's go ahead and switch over to Death Stranding, which could not be a more polar opposite game. So let me start by saying all of the Saints Row clips are in 1080p, and all of these clips are in 4K, so they're all downscaled, so if it looks weird or like the whole screen isn't showing, that's why. But let me go ahead and start with Death Stranding. So while Saints Row is the absolute stupidest, goofiest, funniest, just cringe game there is, Death Stranding is the exact opposite. It is walking simulator. I have a good half a dozen hours and you walk. That is it. That is all you do, is walk and manage your inventory. And it's great. I don't know if it's like the atmosphere or the writing, or if I'm just really bored and need a break from Saints Row, but it's fantastic. I absolutely love it. And without getting too much into it, that's really all I have to say. You essentially walk from point A to point B. You're a mailman, alright? And the reason I'm going over this now is because, one, it's been out for a while, so give it the benefit of the doubt with glitches and bugs and all of that stuff. That's all been ironed out at this point. But it went from PlayStation to PC, and now it's on Game Pass, so it was free. So I figured I'd try it, right? And it's fantastic. If you have the time and the patience, and you enjoy like atmosphere building and world building and like good music and slower paced games, this is the thing. So if you're playing through Saints Row and you literally want to kill yourself because of just how over the top and stupid it is, this is a great break. you literally, I can't express enough how much you just walk around. Now, to be fair, it is a lot of cutscene. So if you're one of those people that doesn't have a lot of time to play, you're trying to play for like an hour or two, this is not your game. I have, like I said, probably half a dozen hours, and I've played maybe 2 of them. Maybe 3. The rest of them, cutscene. I mean, you're talking, I'm trying to go to bed and save, and you got 45 minutes of cutscene. And, you know, it gets better as you get further, but in the beginning, especially, it is a lot of cutscene. Now, it's the same developer who made Metal Gear Solid, and so if you don't like that, like, weird, no clue what the hell is going on type of atmosphere, especially in the beginning, I mean, they don't explain anything to you for a while, and even at the point I'm at now, I'm still a little bit lost. You know, you're not gonna like it. But if you like that type of stuff, like I said, the world building and the atmosphere building, it's really good so far. But that's just my opinion. Again, I'll do full reviews for both of these once I finish them both. And then it'll probably be Gotham Knights time by then. But you guys let me know if you're playing this on Game Pass, what you think of Saints Row, if you're one of the people that loves it or hates it. And I'll see you guys on the next one.